Speaking of the 49ers, the news emerged on Friday, I think as we were traveling home.
Right.
Nick Sorensen, a guy who knows the Seattle Cover 3 defense well. He got his coaching career started in Seattle during their great run of success on that side of the ball. He's the new coordinator, but Brandon Staley is on the staff. And I think it's as simple as Sorensen knows the defense, and Staley is in a position to come in and just kind of augment everything. I think if Staley was a Seattle defense guy, he'd have been the coordinator. I think this is a way for Kyle to kind of have it both ways, Chris.
I would agree with that. I think it's, as far as Shanahan and the 49ers concerned, I think this works out great, right? Yeah, I know Shanahan loves that system. And, of course, Robert Saleh, D'Amico Ryan, they came from that system. He believes in it. They've been a top defense in football.
And the team is constructed to run it.
Exactly right.
The team's already built to run it.
The personnel is made perfectly for this type of scheme. So I did not expect Shanahan to leave the scheme overall, right? Especially like, Brandon Staley's going to be the D coordinator or something like that, where the early rumors were. It was like, wow, well, Shanahan's going to change kind of his base philosophy on that side of the ball? No, he's not. Obviously, with the Nick Sorensen, boosting him up from defensive pass game specialist and all that to now full-time defensive coordinator. Yeah, I think you're kind of saying it right, Mike. They got a guy that, hey, we keep the system in place. We got that. Hopefully he can teach you better than Steve Wilkes. And, hey, Brandon Staley, learn the system, learn what we do. And then once you learn it, maybe you can add a few tweaks for us, too, within the confines of you and your Vic Fangio background and add something to it, right? You hear me say all the time, it's one of the things I don't love about the Seattle scheme at times, is that there's just lack of curveballs as the game goes on. Again, I think that's why you've seen, what is it? The 4 out of the 5 10-point second half leads in the Super Bowl have all been the Seattle defense, because once a team kind of gets late in the game, they start to go, wait, when we do this, they're kind of just playing us like this all the time. We know that. And I felt like that was a part of the reason we saw the Chiefs couldn't be stopped late in the football game. So, I think that's where it could be come in handy for Shanahan and the 49ers down the road.
Speaking of the Chiefs, a couple of reports over the weekend indicated that the 49ers were interested in hiring legendary Chiefs defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo. His contract was expiring. How about that? Spagnuolo's defense beats the 49ers twice in the Super Bowl. If you can't beat them, hire them.
Exactly.
But, of course, the Chiefs did the prudent thing. They broke out the checkbook and kept Steve Spagnuolo around.
That would have been shocking. Listen, I haven't heard that. So, that was news to me, like totally. I did not hear that through the grapevine or anything. Usually, with a name like Steve Spagnuolo and a team like the 49ers, you hear from a few people around football to go, hey, 49ers have been talking, So when I saw that on whatever it was, Saturday or whatever, I was shocked to see that. One, because of what I just talked about. Shanahan seems very, indoctrinated into that Seattle scheme, right? And to think that it even got far enough down the road to where there was a conversation or all that. So that'd have been something. That'd have been interesting, without a doubt.
By the way, before we take a break, Can we put up the photo that we had of Nick Sorensen, the coach? And this is a message to all the kids out there. If your parents, if your boss, if your teachers are telling you to cut your hair, wait as long as possible in your life to cut your hair, because you can always become corporate guy. That is waiting. At some point, you will recognize, I'm too old to have long hair. We've had that conversation about Trevor Lawrence. What's the over-under on when he finally cuts his hair?
Gosh.
Because there was a time when Nick Sorensen was Hercules. Yes, he had the long hair. They called him Sunshine after the character. And remember the Titans, the quarterback with the long hair. When I saw that photo of Nick Sorensen, I shed a tear. Where have you gone, Sunshine?
Yeah, you said it right. He had to get in the corporate world. Nobody wants to, maybe nobody wants to see as many ponytails and things like that once you get in the corporate world. It's cool when you're a football player. You're a renegade. You're allowed to be like that. Corporate world, things change a little bit. But, yeah, right now, that was one of the things that jumped out to me about the Combine. My wife, too. A lot of people with long hair. Just hair's in style right now. Long hair, beards. It's everybody. And it really is. My son, this stupid haircut all the teenagers are wearing right now, the boys, right? I don't know if you've seen it. It's like a mop on their head. All I do every day is tell my son, you look horrible. Can you please get a haircut? I can't take this shit anymore, right? Sorry, London.
Is his response, Dad, have you looked in the mirror lately at your hair?
Every time. Oh my gosh, you're gonna talk. You're gonna talk. Your stupid hair. You look like you're the general in the army. You look like a general. You look like you're in the army.
Major general. Sergeant general.
Sergeant general. That's right.
Yeah. Here's the other thing too, though. Look at there's young Nick Sorensen in his sunshine days. And here's the thing: if you go with the long hair once you get old, the problem is, like, long flowing gray hair
not
for
cool.
a guy,
Not cool.
And if you dye long hair when you get old, you're Mike Gundy.
Or the guy that starts to lose their hair and they have like half their head bald, right? And then they have a ponytail. I'm always like, come on. I mean, what's going on here? I don't know. I mean, we got a little best of both worlds here. We got no hair on this side of the head. We got way too much hair on this side of the head.
Well, look, it's better than the thing that was a staple of the 70s and 80s. I don't see it much anymore.
You're right.
Well, I do see it in one fairly high-profile place where someone will take whatever's left and like do this whole the comb over. You take this whole elaborate like you grow it real long here,
right,
and you use it to create your own personal toupee.
Yeah, there's only one guy that's dominating the comb over conversation right now. He's dominating that one.
Let's take a break. Let's take a break. When we return, the kickoff may indeed be changing, and one very thrilling moment from NFL lore may never be recreated. More PFT Live right after this. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.